Today is story time. I'm going to tell you the story of when I streaked my high school homecoming football game senior year 2003 and how it went horribly awry. So stay tuned. Okay, so I started telling this story yesterday when we were at the park, but the weather was so hot and humid I was dripping with sweat, so I figured I would stop it there and resume here. I'm going to tell the story of when I streaked my high school football game, senior year 2003. So here's how it all started. My freshman year in high school, I was dared, along with two of my buddies, to streak a football game before we graduated. It was by this kid named Hugo. He said, I'll pay you each $50 if you streak the football game or streak a football game before you graduate. We accepted the challenge immediately. And so we had this running thing all through high school of how we were gonna streak a football game, people betting against us, and it started to pick up steam. More people were throwing in money saying, I bet you won't do it, blah, blah, blah. So not to name names, it was me and two of my friends. One of my friends backed out, so it was just down to me and my other friend. Let's call him Billy. Billy was my other friend, that's not his real name. So we'd been planning this, we'd been prepping it for literally years. We'd had that bet going, and we decided that we would do our homecoming football game senior year. We would streak the football field at the halftime show. So to give you a little background, I played in a band at the time. I actually played in the band with my buddies, my main band, and then I played in my friend's band as well, who was going to be streaking with me. And both of our bands were scheduled to perform at the homecoming dance the next night after the football game, right? And so leading up to the game, we were getting all ready, and this is how we decided to do it. We wore the tearaway track pants, right? The ones that had the buttons all the way down the side. I don't even know if you can buy those anymore. And we had white shirts, like an undershirt, and we took and cut a little notch right here so we could rip the shirt off. So we were all set up. We went and prepped at this friend's house. We got all dressed in our clothes. We painted each other's faces, and we painted each other's butt cheeks because it was impossible to do by yourself. So we did black and gold. Those were our school colors. We went to Alamogordo High School in New Mexico, and we were the Tigers. So we painted half of our face black, half of it gold, and then on our chest we wrote the letters G and O on his chest, and then team across our butt cheeks. So GOTEAM, right? School spirit. We were streaking for school spirit. The night came. It was intense. We were super nervous. And to give you a quick idea what this looks like, in high school, I was skinny as can be. I was probably 135 pounds and like 6 feet tall and albino white. This is October in New Mexico. I had no tan. In contrast, my friend that was going with me is a Mexican, so he was dark. So we had like albino white and super dark, getting ready to tear down this field. So we show up to the game early before halftime. We get all ready. We're scouting everything out. We've got our faces painted. We're in our track pants. We've got our clothes ready to rip off. And we kind of like go and hover around the entrance to the football field. And the track is around the field. You're not allowed on the track. You're nowhere near the field during gameplay. Our football team is on the field playing, finishing up before halftime. The band, which I was in for a long time, the marching band, is getting ready to come on and do their halftime show. And so we sneakily just kind of mosey on in through the gates and onto the track as these guys are exiting. Our hearts are going 1,000 miles an hour. The day has come. 3 years of build-up, a bet. I think we were up to like $120, and it's not a ton, but in high school that's rad. Like there was going to be 4 or 5 people that were going to pay us out if we completed the task. And so we walk up there. The football team is running off of the field, and we're like walking through them as they're running the opposite direction. And the last guy is coming, and that was our cue. As soon as the last dude crossed the track, we were going to bolt, rip off our clothes, and fly. Now, underneath, rather than being totally nude, we were wearing jock straps. We decided to fill our jock straps with like 3 or 4 pairs of socks, so it just looked extra endowed. I don't know why, but we did it. And so it just still doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. Like, for all intensive purposes, we were practically naked. Our butt cheeks were completely exposed, and we were booking it down this field. So the last football player comes off the field, and that's our cue. And at the exact same time, my buddy and I, Billy, we grab our shirts, rip them off of our bodies, rip our pants off. Now there's this huge security guard that was standing right by me who saw us get ready to run on the field. And he puts his hand out like this. And this is no joke. This whole story is true. I'm not making any of this up. You can check it with all of my friends. As he sees us getting ready to go on the field, he probably knows what's going on. He puts his hand out to stop me right at the same moment that I'm ripping my shirt off. And so my arm flies, hits his arm flies out of the way, and we're off. We are down the field, booking it at 100 miles an hour as fast as we can freaking run because we were terrified. Off to my right is the band, the marching band, which I used to be in, so I knew everybody in the band. And if you know anything about a marching band, they have, what do they call them? Drum majors. They're the people that go out front and they conduct the band. They're already on the field getting ready to cue the band to run on, right? And I know one of the girls that's the drum major. And so as I'm coming up on the 50-yard line, I shout out her name and I point to her just to like say what's up. And it was ridiculous because she looked with me and her face went white. She looked terrified. So I'm running. I cross the 50-yard line. I point and I yell to her, and then I look down. As I do, I realize that my jock strap is on my right leg, not where it belongs. And up until the 50-yard line, I've been running, flapping in the wind. Free and clear, nothing. And that's no wonder she went white, like a 135-pound albino white boy running naked past her as she's getting ready to conduct her band. So we're literally booking it. We're flying down this field. And to give you an idea how far we had to run, we had to go across the track on both sides, which surrounded the football field, all the way across the football field, through both end zones. On the other side was a soccer field, and then we had to run across the entire soccer field and clear a fence at the end. So as we're running, we've got homecoming court set up on the field, right? All the kings and queens and all the popular kids in school, they've got the little stand up on the field. They're getting ready to announce the whole homecoming court. All the parents have their video cameras up. We start hearing cheers from the stands because they see us streaking. People are yelling and cheering us on. The security guys jump in a golf cart and start hauling after us. Now the best thing is, and I wish I had the footage, it would be the most amazing thing ever. 2003 was just like VHS video cameras, and we can't find the tape. But it shows me and my buddy Billy, I almost said his name, running down the football field with the golf cart chasing after us, but we were outpacing the golf cart. They're trying to catch us. They've got the on-school cops and the security guys chasing us down, and we were outrunning the golf cart because we were just flying. So everyone in the crowd is starting to cheer. They see us doing our thing, and we're booking it down towards the soccer field. So now we have to cross the soccer field, and everybody thought we had this beautifully coordinated plan to streak, because what happens is we booked it all the way across, made it to the end of the soccer field. There's a chain link fence right there. We had to climb up over this, and I was dying. I thought I was going to get caught because I was like, a sprint like that, you're talking maybe 200 yards flat out, just like at full speed, and then having to climb a fence. We do make it though. There were some tires there that we jumped up on, flew over the fence, and we had 3 of our friends parked at the end on the street there that were waiting to watch from that angle. But what happened, and we didn't even plan this out, everybody thought it was so well coordinated, we ran and jumped in the back of a truck bed of our buddy's truck, and then all 3 cars went in separate directions, so they had no idea what vehicle we were in, and we were free and clear. So we thought. People cheered. It was awesome. Our hearts were going. We felt like rock stars. Afterward, we went back and cleaned up and got all changed. We're high-fiving. We actually showed back up at the game. We'd cleaned our faces off. A few people kind of knew that it was us, so they were like, "Did you guys do that? I can't believe you just did that." We were all high and mighty. We were like on cloud 9 because we'd pulled off the greatest prank in our school's history. And so we're just on cloud 9, we're rolling. It was epic. We thought it was the coolest thing we've ever done. Fast forward to the next day, Saturday. This is the day of the dance. This is the day that both of our bands are going to be playing the dance that night, right? So my band, I played the bass guitar. The other band was me and my buddy Billy, who streaked with me, who had just streaked with me. He was the guitar player and the singer, and then I played the bass guitar. So we get to the school at like 12 p.m. Like, we're setting up all day long. We have to put the stage together. We have to bring all the sound system. We have to sound check. We were there for hours and hours and hours. And we're stoked because our band has never performed for our high school before. It's going to be an awesome opportunity for the band. We both loved performing. People knew that we played in a band, but to be able to play for homecoming was like the coolest thing ever. So we were so excited. That night comes around, we finish setting up, we all go back to pick up our dates and to change and to get ready, show back up at the school, chatting with people. People are like calling us out. They knew that we had streaked the night before. They're high-fiving us, blah, blah, blah. We're getting ready to go on literally 5 minutes before we go on stage. 5 minutes. The principal of the school pulls me and Billy aside and says, I know what you did. You guys are not allowed to be here. I'm gonna ask you to leave. And I lost it. Like, if I'm being real, I cried like that night. Not at school, but I went home and I cried because I felt so terrible. I begged and pleaded with this guy. I said, you can expel me, you can give me ISS, you can give me community service. My band has been preparing for this forever. Please don't kick us out. And our principal had like this reputation of being totally crazy in high school. Somebody said that he rode his motorcycle through the middle of the high school as a senior prank. And he had no leniency on us whatsoever. He was so strict with us, he literally got security to escort us out of the dance 5 minutes before our band was supposed to go on stage. And it was brutal. My heart dropped. I had let down my entire band. I let down both bands. The parents of the rest of the guys in my band were livid. The dad especially. He ripped Billy a new one. He never found me, thankfully, otherwise he would have chewed me out too. And he was just so mad that we had been so irresponsible, that we had wrecked that night for his sons and for the band and for everything else. And we really did. We wrecked it. It sucked. We were sad because we were really looking forward to playing. And so principal would not budge, not even the slightest, kicked us out of the dance. I had to take my date home because obviously she wasn't going to just stay there without me. So her and I go back to her house and I just bawled my eyes out. I felt terrible. I literally bawled my eyes out because I wrecked the whole night. So to give you an idea of what this did, the band still went on because they didn't have anybody else scheduled to perform. So my band went on and they fudged through it. They did all right. You know, they're just missing a bass player, but you can still get the idea of the song. The second band, which was me and Billy playing in, basically lost half of their entire band. So the only thing that was left was the drummer and a backup guitar player / semi-vocalist. And the guitar player had happened to be drinking that day and was pretty far gone by the time he got up on stage. And so I wish I could have seen it. They got up on stage, tried to fumble through a set. Somebody said that he got on the microphone and said something along the lines of, I'm sorry the rest of the band can't be here tonight because they were busy pulling the best prank in the effing world. And everybody cheered and yelled, and then they just made this whole mockery of the performance for the rest of the night, plowed through it. Needless to say, we literally had live bands banned from playing at homecoming shows because of that night, because it went so horribly. As far as I know, that lasted for 7 or 8 years where nobody played at a dance because of that night, because it went so bad. And that's not the end of it. So we go home, my parents are out of town. For some reason, I was feeling bold the night before, and I called my parents to tell them what I had done. And my parents flip. I mean, they flipped out. They said I shamed the family. I ruined the family name. My dad was talking about moving to South Dakota. He was telling us that he put in resumes to all these different states because they couldn't stand to live in the state that I had shamed the family name again. I'm like, they were hardcore. My little brother was grounded at the time, and him and his friends snuck out to come see us streak. They both got grounded for leaving when they weren't supposed to. So everyone's just getting in trouble, and my parents were freaking out at me, freaking out. My mom was crying, the whole bit. Now here's the thing, they tell this story like it's funny nowadays. It's a decade later. I've been graduated for 11 years, and they tell this story, but I feel like they don't have the right to tell this story because of the way they freaked out that night. Anyway, so Monday rolls around, I go back to school, right? Literally for 3 days, we're famous. Everybody knows it was us. They saw that we got kicked out of the dance, so they knew that it was us that had streaked, and we were living it up, the fact that everybody thought it was the craziest thing ever and they loved it, and we're just cruising through the school like we're hot stuff, right? It's third or fourth period, and over the intercom they say, Sam, Billy, can you please report to the front office, blah blah blah. Everybody was like, oh, they knew it was up. We go and we sit with the principal. We kind of plead with him a little bit to take it easy on us. Again, he doesn't budge. He sits us down. He says, Sam, Billy, I have literally 30 tapes of parents who are ticked off that you streaked the homecoming game that want you caught and they want you punished. So these are all the parents of like the sweet little homecoming court kids and their dear little Susie and their sweet little Johnny, or like homecoming king and queen, and these two naked dudes are running in the background of their footage, and we ruined it for everybody. So they all sent their tapes to the principal to get us busted. And I told the principal, I said, Mr. Jenkins, I heard that you had purple hair in high school and that you rode your motorcycle through the middle of the commons area, and you're not gonna give us a break. And he still would not budge. He still would not budge. And he didn't deny that he had done those things either. It ends up, he gives us 3 days out of school suspension and 3 days in school suspension. Out of school suspension is where you can't make up any of your work. That was like the worst 6 days of my life because my parents just took it so rough on me. I was grounded for the entire summer. They were talking about moving. They said I shamed the family name, blah, blah, blah. It was terrible, but it went bad. I ruined the performance for our band, for the other band. We got suspended. I got grounded. At the end of the day, it all blew over. 10 years later, it's now a funny story. Oh, here's what I didn't mention. That punk Hugo, his name is Hugo, and that's not even a changed name. If you're watching this, Hugo, you owe us 50 bucks. He bounced, he moved out of the state, and he never paid us. So we had a few friends that paid us. We ended up getting like 40 bucks each. It would have been like 90 had he paid us, but he didn't. Little pansy petered out on us, moved out of the state, and never paid up. So if you guys know who Hugo is, from Alamogordo, New Mexico, you owe us both 50 bucks because we pulled it off. So pony up, bro. Anyway, that's how it all went down. I wish I could find the video footage. I'm gonna have to do some digging. If I can, I promise I will post it. Even though I was punished severely and it went horribly awry, it's still a highlight. It is a solid story. We pulled it off. That's when I streaked the football game. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. We'll talk to you soon. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. All right, peace.